Donald Trump just rushed out of the White House. He wouldn't answer any questions, and frankly, he was under immense pressure. There has been disastrous news after disastrous news for the former president. Yet, he's done working on your dime and is off for a vacation. He's taking that early escape while the American public is left to pick up the pieces. We need to talk about why he's running, and the numbers tell a devastating story. This is not about politics. This is about data, national security, and basic accountability. Look, some of us, perhaps most of us, have to get up, clock in, and grind for every dollar we earn. We're the people driving the economy. But your former president, the guy who asks for your vote, the data is conclusive. He is not putting in the work. He is starting his day, according to the New York Times, at 12:08 p.m. Not 8 a.m., not 9 a.m., 12:08 p.m. That is when his official workday begins. You heard that correctly. A midday start. This isn't a small detail. It is foundational. We, the taxpayers, are funding this. And the public has noticed, with some asking, done working. When has he ever worked? That skepticism is warranted when you compare his schedule to previous administrations. The sheer volume of work has dropped too. His number of official appearances has plummeted by 39% compared to his first term. In 2017, he held over 1,600 events in that period. Now, just over 1,000. He is doing less work, taking more time off, and it is costing you, the taxpayer. One commentator put it bluntly, this lazy bum goes golfing on my dime and the tax-paying Americans in the middle of the week. What a crook. This pattern of fatigue and reduced workload is crucial because it leads directly to the monumental failures in policy and judgment we are witnessing. A person who starts their day at noon is simply not equipped to handle the gravity of a 24/7 global crisis, which is exactly what we are seeing reflected in the polls. Let's set the stage with the hard, undeniable facts. Forget the political noise, focus on the statistics because they are screaming. Donald Trump's current net approval rating on foreign policy stands at a disastrous 13 points. This is not a fluctuation. This is a catastrophic collapse. The rating has dropped a staggering 15 points since the start of his term, and the implications are historically profound. Consider the context. The average president historically maintains a net approval rating of +17 during this comparable period. Trump, in his first term, set the record for the worst rating at 12. He has now broken his own record, dipping to 13. He is factually the worst on record for foreign policy approval. Now, do the simple math. The average president is at +17. Trump is at 13. He is currently lagging 30 points behind the historical average. This is not a political preference gap. This is a gaping hole in public trust regarding his ability to manage global affairs. The American people believe he is doing an awful, awful, awful job. Some of you might be skeptical of these numbers. Again, who is taking these approval surveys? I have not completed anything. I hear you, but these are weighted, peer-reviewed statistical models from major institutions like Pew and The Economist. The consensus of the data is clear, and when you drill down into specific areas, the disaster deepens. His handling of Russia is at 18 points, and Ukraine is at 13 points. Why such an overwhelming rejection on these two fronts? It leads us directly to the next catastrophic failure, the question of external influence. We need to discuss what may be the most significant national security liability we have seen in decades, and it is directly linked to those dismal poll numbers. Bloomberg published a receipt, detailing a conversation between Steve Witkoff, a key Trump emissary, and senior Russian officials, including Yuri Ushakov. The transcript is astonishing. Witkoff wasn't engaged in standard diplomacy. He was coaching Russian officials, our geopolitical adversaries, on exactly what they needed to say to flatter and manipulate the former president. He advised them to reiterate that you congratulate the president on his achievement and praise him as a man of peace. This is not negotiation. This is instructing an adversary on how to exploit the principal's ego to gain leverage. This is fundamentally a catastrophic failure of judgment and ethical conduct. But it gets worse. A separate conversation with Kirill Dmitriev, another close Putin ally, discussed handing over a 28-boy plan, a detailed peace plan, to Trump's team. The plan was to pass it along informally, making it clear that they would do everything neatly to ensure the plan could be presented as if it originated from the U.S. side, thereby providing cover for Russian interests. The public reaction in the comments section is precise and warranted. Now that it's out in the open that Witkoff is a Russian asset working to ensure that Trump sides with Russia, will any Republicans have the backbone to speak out against this? And the most pointed question, is this not treason? They should all be removed. And when an American emissary is actively guiding a foreign adversary on how to secure a strategic political outcome by appealing directly to the president's personal vanity, and when a foreign plan is being laundered to appear domestic, you have crossed a clear boundary between diplomacy and complicity. This scandal alone should explain the record low foreign policy approval rating.
And what the president wants to do is bring choices back, right? Compare it to health and to your auto insurance. If you drive correctly, you don't get speed tickets, you don't have accidents, you get rewarded with lower health or auto insurance. However, if you drive fast, drive reckless, have accidents, you're going to have higher health or auto insurance. What the president would like to do is say, hey, if you take care of yourself, you don't smoke, you don't dip, you're not drinking, you're not overweight, you're working out, and then you should pay less than the guy that is obviously not taking care of himself. Well, the insurance companies, they want all those together because it's their risk management.
Right.
And Obamacare forced them to come together.
Well,
that's why we're
running out of time, but I just got...
Let's follow the money because it explains the political choices. The House Judiciary Committee Democrats released a damning report titled Trump, Crypto, and a New Age of Corruption. The report establishes an unconscionable moral contrast. On one hand, the Trump administration and its allies have systematically cut funding for Medicare, Medicaid, and essential food benefits for 42 million Americans. On the other hand, the Trump family has been quietly pocketing billions through an unprecedented structure of corruption tied to cryptocurrency. The central thesis, Trump has leveraged his office to become a crypto billionaire by extending broad protections to fraudsters and scam artists. In return, these entities, and more troublingly, foreign governments, the report specifically hints at the Russians, the Saudis, the UAE, China, and organized crime groups, can secretly funnel huge sums of money directly into Trump's pocket through these crypto ventures. The numbers are staggering. The Trump family reportedly raked in over $800 million in income from crypto asset sales in the first half of 2025 alone. His total cryptocurrency holdings are estimated to be as high as $11.6 billion. This is not capitalism. It is a clear-cut national security vulnerability disguised as a financial innovation. It is a legalized money laundering pipeline allowing foreign states seeking influence and criminals seeking pardons to purchase access. Given this, it is no surprise that a bewildered public observer asks, how in heaven's name does he get any approval? The price for beef has gone up 5 times, as even Fox News admits, forcing Americans to choose between proteins, while the former president is accruing billions through potentially compromised financial dealings. This is the stark reality of the economic crisis under his term. Finally, let's return to the 12:08 p.m. start time and the resultant fatigue. When a person is overworked or simply unwilling to do the job, the first thing to break down is judgment and temperament. We saw this spectacle at the annual turkey pardon event, which he turned into a bizarre political rally.
And we have fully secured our southern border. I've also ended 8 wars in 9 months, and we're working on that final war. It's not easy, but I don't know. I think we're going to get there. 25,000 soldiers, Ukraine, Russia. In the last month, 25,000 soldiers have died. So I think we're getting very close to a deal. We'll find out. I thought that one would have been gone quicker. We did 8. I thought that would have been an easier one, but I think we're making progress. In less than 1 year, we've accomplished more than most other administrations have accomplished in 8 years.
The fictional accomplishments, he claimed he ended 8 wars in 9 months. This is an absolute demonstrable falsehood. It is a lie. As one commenter pointed out, he just can't miss any opportunity to lie, blame, and brag, can he? The lame attack.
Into a terrible situation caused by a man named Sleepy Joe Biden. He used an auto pen last year for the turkey's pardon. So I have the official duty to determine, and I have determined that last year's turkey pardons are totally invalid.
He then descended into schoolyard insults, calling Governor Pritzker a big fat slob.
We're ready to go. You know, we've been moving toward Chicago. We have a governor that thinks it's wonderful that only like 7 people were killed this week. But we are moving toward doing, and we're going to, if crime gets, it's horrible what's happening in Chicago. We could make Chicago a safe city in a period of 4 weeks. In a period of 8 weeks, 9 weeks, 10 weeks, it would be totally safe. And the people of Chicago want us to go there. And if you look at the crime that's taken place in Chicago in the last 2 weeks, just take a look. It's on the front page of every newspaper. It's out of control. The mayor is incompetent, and the governor is a big fat slob. He ought to invite us in, say, please make Chicago safe. We're going to lose a great city if we don't do it quickly. Make Chicago. We'll do the same thing as we did in D.C., the same thing as we did everywhere we've gone.
At a nationally televised holiday event, no less. The hypocrisy was lost on no one. He really has a lot of nerve calling someone else a fat slob. When is the last time he looked in the mirror? The sick joke.
But instead of pardon, some of my more enthusiastic staffers were already drafting the paperwork to ship Gobble and Waddle straight to the terrorist confinement center in El Salvador. And even those birds don't want to be there. You know what I mean? It was a tough. I'd like to thank the president of that country. They do a rather efficient job. It's got to be the largest prison in history. I've never seen anything like it. And a lot of people are behaving on our streets now. You know, Washington, D.C. is considered a safe zone. This was one of our most unsafe places anywhere in the United States. It is now considered a totally safe city. I won't tell you about murders. We're having murders, like a lot of murders, on a weekly basis. We haven't had a murder in 6 months. And it doesn't sound good even to say that. We haven't had a murder in 6 months, but...
Most disturbingly, he threatened to ship the rejected turkeys to terrorist confinement centers in El Salvador, an implicit reference to notorious concentration camps. This is bizarre behavior for any person, let alone a former world leader. This all flows from the man who is starting his day at noon and has cut his official workload by nearly 40%. The consensus is damning. He's done working. That thing only works his mouth. He is not just apathetic, he is actively hostile to the foundational decorum of the office. We have detailed the facts. The data shows a historic failure at 13. The transcripts point to compromised national security through the Witkoff-Moscow connection. The financial reports reveal a potential $11.6 billion corruption pipeline using cryptocurrency. The behavior demonstrates severe fatigue and a complete lack of necessary temperament. One commentator asked the ultimate question that every American must face. It's time America asks herself if Trump is the representation we would like to present to the rest of the world. No, he must go. The evidence is overwhelming. This is your choice. The facts are on the table. If you believe that data, accountability, and national security must prevail over personal fatigue and corruption, then you know what to do. Subscribe now. We are going to continue tracking every single data point, every single report, and every single cent. We will not stop digging. I'll see you on the next deep dive, maybe bright and early because some of us still have to work.